Today, we're going to be ranking every recurring Family Guy character, or at least what Wikipedia considers recurring. If you like this new format, be sure to let us know what else you want us to rank in the comments. First up is Preston Lloyd, Peter's most recent manager at Pawtucket Brewery, who first appeared in the episode The Birthday Bootlegger.
Well, who the hell are you?
I'm Preston Lloyd, the new manager of the brewery and your boss.
Preston is Peter's fourth boss of the brewery, defined by his no-nonsense attitude and his habit of micromanaging every single second of the workday.
I made a decision to cancel office birthdays, and it was very explicit.
There was nudity?
He's the kind of boss who stands in earshot of the workplace bathroom to make sure you're actually using the toilet. Speaking from experience, yes, those guys do exist. But Preston is quite responsible, intelligent, and willing to give Peter chances he probably doesn't deserve.
I realized only a true drunk could save the brewery. That's why I sent you that text last night.
Also, Preston works at a brewery, yet hates the taste of alcohol. Kinda feels like a diabetic working in Willy Wonka's chocolate factory.
I've been sober for 46 years.
How old are you?
46.
So Preston's straight-laced, dry personality is just humorous enough that we're gonna put him in the C category. He's still fairly new, so maybe we'll see more from him in time, but for now, he's not the most enjoyable character, but he's serviceable. And serving up some cowboy mayoral leadership is Wild West, cousin of the late great Mayor Adam West, who becomes Quahog's new mayor in Wild Wild West.
Have you ever killed a man?
Reddit says I've killed 39, but that seems low.
Just by looking at him, you can tell that Wild West is essentially a caricature of his voice actor Sam Elliott, who's known for his gruff voice, impressive mustache, and his connections to the Western genre.
And it taught me that a town is like a horse. You don't choose it, it chooses you.
A town also sleeps standing up like a horse. I guess this guy might be onto something. Wild West isn't as crazy as his cousin, opting to run Quahog with Western flair and a steady hand of justice.
And I'm gonna hunt you down like the mighty grizzly hunts a Slim Jim left on the dashboard of a Ford Taurus.
He's cool and all, but I think I actually prefer a maniac mayor who may be the biggest threat to his own city. I don't live there, so I can just watch from a safe distance because I'm also a maniac. So Wild West is gonna get a C from us. He's fine in his own right, but because he's following one of the most beloved characters in the series, it definitely hurts his overall ranking. Best mustache in the series though, so at least he's got that.
My hair follicles run deeper than the roots of a sequoia.
But if you were to look online, you may see that Doug is considered one of the worst characters in the series.
Oh, I was just gonna drive through some puddles and see how long my tracks stay wet.
First appearing in Season 17's Island Adventure, Doug is a preppy preschooler who would quickly become Stewie's latest rival. Though their rivalry is a little less violent and way more passive-aggressive.
If someone had returned my mower when they said they were going to, I would have done it weeks ago.
For several seasons, the two would engage in several childhood competitions, from climbing a jungle gym on the playground as if it were Mount Everest to simple fashion fights.
What the? 11, 12, 13, 15 zippers? You've got to be kidding me.
I think we all knew one of these kids growing up, the kid with a rich family who gets what they want a lot, but at least our parents love us. Ha! Checkmate, toddler.
Hey, I got your message about the miscarriage.
So because both he and Stewie have their own insecurities, they do find themselves respecting one another on occasion while still looking to one-up each other. Now I'm gonna say something controversial that may just get us canceled. We actually like Doug.
Hey, whoa, there's no need for that.
It's true, we actually don't hate the kid. We think he brings out more of the childish side in Stewie, matching him in sassiness and condescendingness rather than evil villainy like Bertram did. It definitely fits with this more recent characterization of Stewie, and for that, we think Doug has earned himself a B rank. And we just can't wait to see what our new favorite character gets up to next.
Oh, and Doug died in a commuter plane crash this morning.
And we're not sure if these guys died or what, but Burt and Sheila were the former managers of Pawtucket Brewery that predated Preston Lloyd.
Attention everyone, do not adjust your TV sets, we are an interracial couple.
So this power couple first appeared in Pawtucket Pete after Angela's death as the brewery was in need of some new leadership. Their whole thing seems to be that they're a couple, which is kinda starting to make me anti-PDA.
We
Assure
you
nothing
will
be
different.
Alright, keep that freakiness in the bedroom, you two. They both seem to be okay bosses, though their leadership style can be a bit questionable, like when they sign Peter up for gender reassignment surgery after he pretends to be trans.
Congratulations, Peter. You're officially a woman.
Either they had good intentions or thought this was the funniest prank to pull on someone passed out. But there's really nothing all that memorable about them, as they were quietly removed from the show not long after without warning or storyline reason, so they're going in the D tier. A real blink and you'll miss it couple of characters. And speaking of blink and you'll miss it, we had to do a double take to remember who exactly Miss Tammy is. She's Stewie's preschool teacher, and according to Wikipedia, she's listed as a recurring character.
Stewie Griffin, welcome to the Purple Room.
She first appeared in season 13's This Little Piggy, but since then, she hasn't done much of note. Though I just know there's an edgier side to this teacher we've yet to see.
I gotta run out to the parking lot. I'm buying cigarettes from some guy on Craigslist.
Go ahead, I'll handle the kids.
Like, cigarettes are one of the easiest things for an adult to find. She must be on some kind of watch list or something if she has to do this. But sorry to all you Miss Tammy stands out there, this character's going in the D tier. We just haven't seen enough of this character to really even consider her a character. And frankly, I'm not buying into Wikipedia's Miss Tammy propaganda. But Roberta Tubs was an actual character at one point in her life, though she's pretty much become a glorified background filler since moving from Stoolbend to Quahog.
Well, we'll all have to do our part. I'll take little cocoa butter here.
What the hell happened?
I've been wondering the same thing too, Cleveland. Before moving over to Family Guy, Roberta used to be a spunky, easily annoyed teenager obsessed with her looks.
I just need 1 minute to make sure I look good. Do you think I look good, Mr. Armstrong?
But since becoming a character on Family Guy, all she's ever done is appear with her family or in the background. She hasn't even spoken a single line since joining the show. I'm not saying she should have been written or killed off, but like, it wouldn't have affected the show in the slightest. So yeah, she's getting a D ranking until she begins to show some kind of personality or proof of having a pulse. And now we move on to a character that could have been dead on arrival, Vinnie, Brian's temporary replacement when the dog was killed off in Life of Brian.
What breed are you?
Actually, I'm a hound.
Really? All right.
That just means I'm 1/16th cat.
This plate of spaghetti and meatballs in dog form appeared in a whopping 3 episodes of the show, but even made his way into the opening theme song. Not too shabby for a dog whose total screen time doesn't even equal the length of a whole episode.
He's a family guy.
But once the episode Christmas Guy rolls around, Vinnie is quickly written out of the show before he ever really gets the chance to stand out. At least let Cleveland adopt him or something. That family needs all the personality it can get. We definitely don't dislike Vinnie, but the show's fumbling and discarding of him does ultimately hurt his ranking. But because he ascended to a status few in the show do, we're giving him a C ranking for his troubles.
Georgette, I'm coming home.
Who the hell is Georgette?
And if you're trying to remember who the hell is Stella, rest assured you're probably not alone. Stella is Peter's deaf coworker at the brewery who comes into the series in the episode The Blind Side.
Nice to meet you.
Well, what is this? We doing a new secret handshake now?
No, Griffin, she's deaf.
And that's pretty much what her character is. She pretty much exists for the show to make a few deaf jokes that, to be honest, aren't as bad as that may sound. But Stella's voice actor, Marlee Matlin, an actual deaf actor, isn't afraid to poke fun at herself and probably steers the writers in the right direction.
Griffin, can I talk to you privately? Stella, turn around.
Who would have thought having an actor with the actual disability you're presenting was the right call? But outside of that small positive, she's not really all that much of a character. She at least gets to speak and is given more to do than, say, Roberta or Miss Tammy, so we think she could at least fit into the C tier. And fitting into the news anchor slot left by Diane Simmons is Joyce Kinney, the latest member of Quahog 5 News.
Welcome, Joyce.
Thanks, Tom.
Wow, you sound crazy nervous.
The new star anchor would even get her own episode, and I'm Joyce Kinney, where she got to show that she had a little bit of a vengeful side to her.
Boo-hoo. You don't like it? You can go talk to a reporter.
Nice, so it looks like Lois is gonna have a new rival? Oh, wait, I'm getting word from the booth that Joyce barely does anything of note after this.
But the real story is, I'd be married too if I were willing to date a Persian.
Yeah, she kinda just appears every now and then, but she does get her own talk show at one point called The Flow.
You have no idea how offensive you are to women, do you?
What? I love women. I bet I can name more guys than you.
But outside of these smaller appearances, she hasn't really had the biggest presence in the show, so we're gonna report Joyce Kinney right to the C tier. More news at 11. And we've got more of Cleveland's kids to cover because, like Roberta, Rollo Tubbs also joins Cleveland back in Quahog in the episode He's Black.
Sup, man?
Yeah, sup. Keep walking, you boondocks ripoff.
But believe it or not, Rollo has actually gotten far more mileage in the series than his sister. Well, it's only 2 other episodes, but that's like 1,000 miles compared to Roberta. Rollo at least got to speak when Peter came to Stoolbend in The Splendid Source.
Somebody colored in your Jesus.
Somebody colored in your ass with too much ass, fat ass.
And he even got to play a character in the show's Star Wars parodies after they ran out of their own characters to use.
The shield may be down, but they've gone into glitter ball mode.
But after that, a whole lot of nothing. This kind of felt like an easy layup to give Stewie a new friend or potential rival, but the show decided to keep him quiet. So there's no real other choice than to put him in the D category to give his silent sister some company. But unlike her children, the show has made somewhat of an attempt to integrate Cleveland's new wife, Donna Tubs, into the show's cast.
He broke my vase, and maybe I wouldn't have to discipline your child if you did it yourself.
So while the episode He's Black primed Donna to maybe be a bit of a rival for Lois, Donna would actually be inserted into Lois's friend circle, which at the time only included Bonnie, making it more of a friend straight line.
So, Loie, how was the big date night?
Wonderful date night. Great.
She'll get a few appearances here and there, but like her kids, she can sometimes be relegated to long stints of never speaking in episodes. At least she's making it into parody episodes now. That's something. Not much of something, but this something is still something.
You're making a mistake. The murderer is obviously Jeffrey Dahmer, and he'll kill again!
We think Donna can find a home in the C tier, as an attempt is at least being made to get her closer to the main cast, even if it's mostly because she's married to Cleveland. Speaking of Cleveland, there was once a time he almost had a replacement in the friend group, Lois's ex-boyfriend Jerome.
Did I hear some sorry-ass fools in need of a mother-loving fourth?
First appearing in a self-titled episode, Jerome is the New Black, Jerome was kinda everything Cleveland wasn't. Suave, confident, capable, didn't have a show that would be canceled in a few years. Of course, the guys really only saw one thing with Jerome.
Gentlemen, we got us a black man.
But despite not making it into the core friend group by the end of the episode, Jerome would earn his spot in the regular cast when he became the new owner of the Drunken Clam after Horace died.
I saw buying it as a way to carry on Horace's legacy, so I own the clam now.
Seems like the responsible thing to do after you murder a guy with a baseball. Since then, Jerome has been a mainstay around town, earning roles in Family Guy's parody episodes.
Oh no, the screen's turning sepia. This is the end of my story.
As well as at least one other episode where he plays a prominent role.
You don't understand. I don't want Pam dating a white boy.
What? Jerome, you're a racist.
See? Character progression. The sign of a true mainstay. So because Jerome has achieved a more prominent role, and because we genuinely like when he's implemented into the story, we're giving him a spot in the B tier. He's proof that even some stereotypes can have their moments. And Ida Davis would be another one of those stereotypes, becoming the show's first ever transgender character.
What do you think, boys?
I'm walking on sunshine. Whoa!
Their transition from Dan Quagmire to Ida Davis has been the source of an ongoing inner turmoil for Quagmire, who at times struggles to see his war hero father as a woman.
All I want is for you to be happy. You're my dad. And if you're happy, I'm happy for you.
Quite a mature and progressive take for the show, if you forget that the scene before it was this.
I had sex with her at the Marriott! Oh, why? I didn't know it was her! Oh my god!
So Ida would continue to appear as both a fully realized character as well as an occasional target for the show's commentary on the state of the world.
Oh, it's okay, I'm transgender.
Oh, I had no idea. Do whatever you want all the time.
Can't say anything is really off limits for the show. But through the jokes and jabs, Ida actually offers quite a lot of emotional moments as we learn more about her struggle to achieve happiness.
I became a war hero and raised a family, but I was dying inside.
But through it all, Ida found her happiness, and that's about as honorable as a Family Guy character can get. So we think Ida deserves a spot in the B tier for adding a little bit of depth and commentary to a show inclined to make a character vomit for 30 seconds after learning they slept with them. But there's not much depth you can give to a 1-year-old baby not named Stewie, because not a ton has been done with Susie Swanson.
She's beautiful. Isn't she, sweetheart?
She sure is, Joe.
So after being pregnant for what feels like her entire life, Bonnie finally gives birth to Susie in Ocean's 3.5. And she's just a baby. A regular old factory settings baby. But that doesn't keep her from beating the crap out of Stewie at one point. Easy there, Susie. You're just gonna make Stewie fall in love with you even harder. But yeah, Susie doesn't do a whole lot else in the show. But there is one redeeming quality to this child.
This is Patrick Stewart. How are you liking the program so far?
Yep, Charles Jean-Luc Xavier Picard himself. Every now and then, Susie will have an inner monologue with Stewart's voice, which bumps her up a few points in our book.
Today, I saw a balloon.
And it's that ridiculous little note that's gonna put Susie in the C tier for us. Yeah, she kinda just sits there, but having the leader of the X-Men as your inner voice is too good a trait to pass up. But it looks like Family Guy may have passed up on using Tomic and Bellgard, because we haven't seen those guys in a hot minute.
I myself drank like 5 liters of beer. Any more and I would have ended up in hospital, man.
So their whole shtick is foreign guys who have lived in America long enough that they almost sound American. So they're basically just one joke, and not exactly a funny one.
Looks like you and me will have to make hands on each other tonight.
Gross. I was just playing joke at you.
Their nondescript ethnic comments aren't the worst thing in the world, but they've never made me enjoy an episode more. So these two are gonna have to be settled into the D tier. Who knows, in their culture that might actually be a good thing. And from one culture to another, we go to the Mexican cleaning lady Canuela, whose main purpose in life is to clean and reject suggestions.
Here's $40 if you leave right now.
No, I stay.
She's one of the many characters voiced by former Cleveland voice actor Mike Henry, and the simplicity of her character must have earned her some popularity because she goes from a cutaway character to a full-on mainstay.
Baby all alone in street. I take baby home.
A hard-working Latina woman who helps the needy and provides for her family? What's not to love? She's even gotten some starring roles in other episodes, and while her sentences are short, it seems like her legacy is cemented to last for years.
Hi, Consuela.
You two know each other?
Oh yeah, Lemon Pledge, no, all that stuff.
So yeah, she's a fun, simple character, so we think she fits well into the C tier.
No.
Alright, fine, you can go in the B tier, but only because you're such an icon. And next up, we have Brian's longest girlfriend, Jillian. Length as in how long they've been together, not in her length, I should clarify.
I was watching something on TV about this guy named Hitler. Somebody should stop him.
So back in season 5, Brian started dating Jillian despite their obvious gap in intelligence. But come on, you know her mind is not a part of the body he's actually interested in.
I just wanted to spend some time with you.
She'd last all the way until the next season, where they would break up and Jillian would eventually go on to marry someone else.
You had your chance. I mean, I thought you were my soul train, but you didn't want me.
Dogs have never really been that good at sharing, have they? After that, Jillian never really had a prominent role in the series, but her time spent as Brian's girlfriend has elevated her to be one of the show's more endearing and entertaining characters. Jillian gets a B from us, though we should clarify that we mean the letter and not the insect, in case she's listening. But someone who never really reached those same heights is Carl, the slacker manager of the Quahog Minimart.
Hey, how come you're always here by yourself? You like a bitch or something?
No, I have friends.
Oh.
If there's a movie, TV show, or commercial from the 90s until now, Carl has probably seen it. And there's not much to him outside of that, other than, you know, that voice.
Hi, I'm Bob from Bob's Burgers. How about that show Archer? You watch that show Archer? Here's that guy, Archer.
I do love me some H. John Benjamin, but this is probably his flattest character. He has his moments of obscure pop culture knowledge, but there isn't much else to him beyond that. It's a C, as in Carl, for us. But here's a character that's been on a bit of a rise as of late, Elle the Librarian.
And it's like if I had 9 lives, maybe I'd finally find a man.
With a penchant for laughing at her own corny jokes, Elle was initially a bit character that had only appeared twice in the early seasons before disappearing for over 10 years before re-emerging in the show. And let me tell you, the show has really been pushing this character. Heck, she was almost the mayor of Quahog.
Let's toast our new mayor. I'm sorry, I don't even know your name.
L. Hitler.
Yeah, hard to have a career in politics with a name like that. I mean, a first name that just sounds like a letter? It'll never work. But the show pushed her even further by making her a part of Lois's circle of friends.
After you had dinner, how was the pork?
And she even got a prominent role in an episode where she out-Mojo's Quagmire of all people.
Are you sure you can handle me?
Better question, can you handle me?
This is some heavy propaganda for this character, and we're not so sure we're buying it yet. The laugh and bad jokes are fun, but not fun enough to really get us behind the character just yet. For now, we think she's in the D tier, but if they keep trying as hard as they have with her, maybe she'll move up one day. But one character needing no propaganda behind him is James Woods, the infamous actor who became a long-running antagonist for the Griffin family.
You're in a lot of trouble, Griffin, you motherfucker!
The crazed actor has spent years stirring up trouble for the Griffin family, whether it be by stealing Peter's identity, a hotly sought-after thing, I'm sure, or ruining Brian's television show.
Hey, and guess what? I discovered a new element.
The guy is an absolute menace, and somebody needed to stop him before people got killed.
Look!
Well, I was thinking more like jail, but sure, putting him in the dirt works too. But not even death can keep him down, as he's resurrected by the next season.
And in accordance with Hollywood law, her life force was infused into me.
bringing me back from the dead.
Kinda sounds like something reserved for A-list celebrities, no? Woods may not be an A-lister, but to us, he's an A-tier Family Guy character. His unhinged nature and iconic voice make for a fun addition whenever he's in the mix, and although his appearances are minimal, he's made a sizable impact in almost every episode he's appeared in. And speaking of small appearances, perhaps no character makes the most of their short time on screen than salesman Al Harrington.
Hi, I'm Al Harrington, president and CEO of Al Harrington's wacky-waving inflatable arm-flailing tube-man emporium and warehouse.
With a tongue of lightning and a never-ending supply of old-fashioned advertising junk, Al's always looking to sell you something whether you want to hear him or not.
I am now in possession of hundreds of pallets of crudely painted, not-so-funny, plywood cutout folk art.
Wow, I live in a studio apartment underwater, and even I kinda want one of those things just from his salesmanship. We don't really get much more from him beyond these cutaways though, although we do know he's single. Hear that, everyone?
I am currently seeking online companionship as a short but handsome, slightly hairy, newly single salesman.
We definitely enjoy his little bits, though we do wish at some point they could have expanded on him to make him a bit more of an actual character. Being a single, desperate guy is definitely a start, but until we see more, we think C is a pretty safe home for the guy. And from the home of Herbert is Jessie, the 100-year-old dog who is on this list for some reason. Yeah, there's not much to talk about with this one. Just Herbert in dog form, more or less. You gotta wonder if Jessie gives the puppies around the neighborhood any trouble.
Jessie! Jessie!
Okay, that seal bark was kinda cute, but there's not much else to say about that dog. So he's going in D for dog, of course. Maybe it's time to think about putting him down, you know? Herbert, I mean, not Jessie. But this next guy may have been put down because it's been a minute since we've seen the likes of James William Bottomtooth III. Oh no. So basically he's a caricature of snooty Englishman with a big jaw that makes all his words sound like nonsense. Once again, that's pretty much all there is to say about this guy.
Okay, thank you.
The guy hasn't really appeared in the show since season 9, so either he got that jaw reconstruction surgery, returned to his homeland of equally big-jawed men, or the writers just couldn't figure out what else to do with him. We're gonna go with option D, which is to put him in the D tier for being an occasionally funny but ultimately one-note side character. But a side character who's actually gotten some minor development is Opie, Peter's mentally handicapped coworker.
He is a burden of the state, deemed unfit for mainstream society. He is your superior.
But don't let those glazed eyes and single patch of hair fool you. Opie is a model employee, having been Employee of the Month at least 20 times. Which, if you're keeping track, is 20 more times than Peter.
Congratulations, you made Employee of the Month again.
But behind those ping-pong ball eyes lies a darkness to the character as well. Apparently, Opie is a huge alcoholic, so when booze gets banned in Quahog, he ends up sounding like this.
I do miss drinking, but I have used the time to reconnect with my children.
And even though it looks like he goes back to his drinking ways, he's still shown to be an admirable and loving father. So he certainly got a little more depth than some of the other side characters, but he also doesn't play much of a role in some of these stories, so we can't really place him too high. We think C tier is perfectly acceptable for a man of his many talents and poetic words. And for the sake of brevity, we're gonna go ahead and lump in Meg's friends Ruth, Patty, and Esther into one mini section. Do they really deserve anything more?
My cousin went to a Halloween party and made out with a guy, and she's hideous. I mean, really hideous.
This trio is super forgettable, not really bringing much to episodes other than making Meg look like the most popular girl in school by comparison. On occasion, they do snag a prominent place in a story, like when Brian thirsted after Patty and scammed Yankees.
Holy crap, that was Patty! She's got a smoking hot body!
And when Ruth went with Meg to Paris, she got kidnapped by traffickers.
Some men just broke in. Oh my god! They've got Ruth!
No big role for Esther, though. If there was a tier below D, that's probably where she'd go. But yeah, Meg's friends are good for a few laughs, but there isn't too much to their characters other than being Meg's friends. So into the D tier for all three. But we go from lackeys to the one in charge, at least at Pawtucket Brewery. Angela was Peter's longest running boss, and perhaps the one who gave him the most pushback.
Mr. Griffin, we have different rules here. For starters, no drinking. Period.
Oh, come on. That's like saying you can't drink the gas when you work at the gas station. Her rules are tight and poignant, although she has shown a softer side to Peter at times.
I can see your eyes and your eyelashes. They're beautiful.
Which is promptly ruined by Angela's aggressive workplace harassment. Word to the wise, never get that close to your boss. They already have the power over you at work, don't let them have power over your nightmares as well.
Yeah,
This is gonna work out just fine.
I'd be scared if I were Peter too. It takes a hero of Herculean strength to handle all of that.
Shut up! Everybody shut up! This took a lot of courage!
Angela and Peter's relationship would remain rocky for years, with her constantly accosting him and sometimes even firing him. But when she eventually passed away, it became clear that she meant a lot to Peter.
I may have lost a boss, but heaven has gained a princess.
Having the iconic Carrie Fisher behind the voice is definitely cool, but Angela was never the most standout character. So we think she can take a seat in the B tier, but she'll always have a place in our hearts. Not a vital place, though. I need that space for those who are still alive. And nobody is quite living like the greased-up deaf guy who, look, his name pretty much tells you everything you need to know.
Don't let it get the best of you. I used to be a lawyer. See you next week.
He essentially just goes around greasing everything up as he's often too oily to catch. And he's deaf because why not? He's basically like Quahog's very own cryptid.
I didn't hurt anybody.
Scat, mister!
I know deep down I'm your friend.
And that's pretty much it. Although we do learn of his greased-up origins in Yug-Yilamath.
Boy, I am late for that meeting.
Typically, we put these bit, non-sequential characters in D, but I think this guy's gonna go in C. I mean, it's just such a weird and random character. A deaf guy that's half naked and covered in grease? Now that was some inspired thinking. Now if only he could find a nice, greased-up deaf girl. But someone who's very familiar with dating is Carol West, the younger sister of Lois, who is mostly known for having had a lot of husbands. How many, you ask? Does the last name Johnson, Carrington, Stone, O'Craggedy, Canseco, Steinholtz, Washington, Proudfoot, Fong answer that for you?
And as soon as the baby can crawl, it'll probably leave me too, just like my 8 husbands.
But she would eventually score with lucky number 9, who just so happened to also be the town's mayor.
But this time it's different. I know it's gonna work. I love you.
And you know what? It does work. See that? You can't kill true love, but you can kill who you love.
I've been having such a hard time since Adam passed away.
Not only that, but anything interesting going on for Carol passed away as well. Without Adam, Carol doesn't bring all that much to the table. She's going in the D tier, but luckily for her, there are plenty of guys in that tier to choose from to be her 10th husband. But one she's not going to find there is Ollie Williams, Channel 5 Action News' weatherman and sports correspondent who delivers the news in quick, easily digestible bites.
Stewart killed Lois.
Then what?
Peter got blamed.
Then what?
Peter went to court.
Then what?
Lois came back.
Ow.
Wasn't really dead.
Much like Opie before him, Ollie's speech pattern seems to be the result of heavy drinking.
This poor gentleman used to speak in long, eloquent sentences, but after years of drinking, he can only speak in short, choppy utterances.
They must be drinking the good stuff in Quahog if it's literally warping their personalities like that. Ollie's shtick is pretty one note, but there's a certain charm to it. Maybe it's just because I've been watching this show since the early days, but Ollie's whole vibe has really stuck with me.
Not too bad.
Right on.
So you know what? Ollie's going in the B tier since he's such an icon. It doesn't matter if you're a one-trick pony as long as you're nailing that trick every single day. And speaking of nails, they just might be what holds the wooden fisherman Sheamus together. Good old Sheamus was first used to warn people of danger, whether it be killer fish or prostate cancer.
You just carry a picture of a diseased prostate around with you? Never know when it's gonna come up in conversation.
Oh, I get the connection now. When you're like Sheamus, you go fishing for fish. But when you're doing a prostate exam, you go fishing for... well, you get it. But over the years, Sheamus has tried to make himself more approachable, trying out various gags and jokes to mixed reviews.
These turn-of-the-century business jokes doing anything for you?
Not really.
Did you use the jokes?
Yeah, they're not landing.
But at the end of the day, he's just looking for love like the rest of us. At least he's wise enough to know to stay in his lane.
I almost don't want to ask you out because I know you're going to say no. You want to go out? No? Okay.
As Sheamus got more fleshed out, despite not having flesh, we grew to like him a bit more. He's a solid B-tier character that can be used in a variety of ways for different situations, and a lot of them are pretty funny. But it's quite possible that Muriel Goldman has never had a funny moment in her life.
We were both 14, and it was winter, and we had terrible head colds.
See? That's probably the funniest line we could find of hers, and it's nothing. And she continued to do a whole lot of nothing all the way up to her death later in season 9 to the uproar of no one.
She was so young. She was so beautiful. She was so generous.
She was basically just female Mort without the funniness, so what's even the point? She's gonna get a D, and even then, that's being generous. And speaking of her husband, Mort Goldman has managed to be a far more enjoyable character as the pathetic owner of Goldman's Pharmacy.
Why didn't I clothespin the end of my penis like Muriel told me to?
Mort's whiny and neurotic attitude makes him a frequent punching bag for the show. But you can feel good about laughing at him because he really does just bring it on himself.
Is that the best you got, you pile of crap?
Yes.
Mort would eventually wriggle his way into the main cast more, even getting to go on a time travel adventure and Road to Germany.
They'll beat me unmerciful and rub dirt in my ass neck and all over my assy.
What?
Turns out Goldman can be a goldmine for bizarre one-liners. Who knew? All in all, Mort proves he can play a pretty solid support role when paired alongside the main cast. He's different enough from the rest of the guys, so he manages to stand out fairly well. So we're gonna stick him in the B tier, where he'll no doubt complain about the legroom of the tier or the height of it or something like that. And moving on to someone who Spooner Street probably should complain about is John Herbert, the neighborhood's resident, well, youth connoisseur.
And you need to come on down to the cellar. I got a whole freezer full of popsicles.
This whistly, desperate geriatric has made a habit of lusting after a particular demographic in Quahog, with Chris being his most sought-after prize. Doesn't he know age gap relationships are problematic? Is he trying to get canceled?
You get off my property, you pervert.
But Chris is relatively unaware of the danger that's in front of him. Luckily, when Herbert actually gets to live with Chris, he finds him to be less dreamy than he imagined.
I am not gonna cook you dinner while you sit here in your own mess playing your TV game.
Sometimes your crush just isn't who you thought they'd be. Usually, this is a lesson you learn when you're young, not 100. Oh, and I guess they usually don't involve a boy old enough to be your grandson.
Chris and a chubby little friend? It's like in my dream.
So Herbert has mostly filled the role as an entertainingly weird background character, but he has landed starring roles in some episodes, usually revolving around Chris. I won't say this has necessarily given him some depth, because really, how deep can you go with a character like that? Well, the guy definitely has his fans, so we think he'll fit fairly well in the B tier. Not the craziest or funniest character, but more often than not, he brings a lot of silliness to the show, even with him being such a dark character in hindsight. Maybe for safety, we should move Doug out of this tier before he disappears. But when Peter's mother Thelma Griffin disappeared from the show, nothing really changed all that much, showing she had about as much of an impact on the show as she had on making Peter a good person.
You gotta call Dad and get back together with— Ah! Holy crap!
Basically, all Thelma does throughout the show is drop bombshells on Peter, from telling him who his real father is.
Peter, Mickey is your real father.
Oh my God!
To revealing that Peter wasn't actually born in the USA.
You were born in Mexico.
What?
At some point, Peter's just gotta stop going over to her house. You can't just be having your whole world flipped upside down once a month. Well, he doesn't have to worry about that now.
Peter, your mother is dead. She had a stroke this afternoon and she died.
I can't tell if that's worse than being crushed to death by your son dressed as a clown. I always figured a clown would be what killed me too. So yeah, despite playing an integral part in Peter's life, Thelma didn't really have much of an impact on the show itself. She unfortunately gets a D rank. And after seeing the guy Peter turned out to be, that might just be her rank as a mother. But Peter would probably take a lifetime of being raised by Thelma than an hour of being raised by Francis, Peter's militantly Catholic stepfather.
I know what you're doing in there, and it's a sin. If you ever do it again, you'll burn in hell.
Yeah, safe to say Francis is about as comforting as a crown of thorns. He and Peter don't exactly have the best relationship, as Francis just sees his son as a fat, stinking drunk with sinful ideations.
You're a lapsed Catholic, Peter. Your wife's a Protestant whore, and your baby isn't even baptized.
Look, if Peter wants warmth, he'll find plenty of that when he goes to hell for, I don't know, not splashing water on Stewie's head or whatever Francis is mad about. But luckily, Francis doesn't hang around for too long.
Grandpa! Oh my God! Is he breathing?
Somebody call an ambulance!
Well, Francis can't be too mad about that. After all, it is God's plan. So Francis is a way worse parent than Thelma, but we're actually going to put him in the C tier, and I'll tell you why. Francis actually adds something to the show as a foil for Peter and the family, which includes more interesting dynamics to the stories. He's not exactly going to be on any t-shirts, but his short stint in the show did give Peter some worthwhile character moments. And someone who's been trying to have a character moment these past few years is Adam West High's principal, John Shepherd.
We'll drop the dumbest student we have. Chris Griffin is hereby expelled.
Shepherd was just kind of a background character for most of the show, but later seasons really hit him with the old loser hammer. Maybe just a bit too hard.
Principal Shepherd?
That's right. And it's just first name Shepherd now that you've had me fired and I have no income.
Principal Shepherd would go on to be portrayed as incompetent, down on his luck, and chronically divorced. Seriously, this guy gets remarried and divorced so often, you'd think he's collecting rings like the Mandarin.
I didn't kill my wife. She just texted me today that she's moved out and she's banging my cousin.
Family Guy seems to have a plethora of pathetic characters, and Shepherd certainly sits pretty low on that totem pole. We're gonna give him a C, as he's mostly a so sad he's funny kind of character, but he's yet to have that episode or moment that really makes him stand out in our eyes. And it looks like the show's given up on having Jasper stand out, as he's pretty much disappeared from the show entirely.
You guys have any cheese doodles? See, that's what I do. I ask for a snack and then I blow the horn.
So Jasper is Brian's cousin who lives in LA and is quite the eccentric dog. I think that's probably the kindest way to put that.
Brian, okay, I'm back. Tell me everything. I'm sitting, I'm hearing. That's Ricardo, Brian.
I wonder how they found each other since Brian was taken from his mom at a young age. I wonder why I'm thinking about consistency and continuity in Family Guy. But Brian seems to deeply care for Jasper, even going out and trying to get gay marriage legalized so Jasper and Ricardo could get married in Quahog.
All I ever wanted was to get married and make a home with a skinny, hairless Filipino boy. Isn't that the American dream?
But after season 4, Jasper would be used for background roles and nothing else really. This probably comes down to Family Guy's mission of reeling back on gay stereotypes in the show. You've already got Bruce, what more could you need? So yeah, Jasper gets a D from us, but he'll be fine as long as he gets a D from Ricardo. We're allowed to say that, right? But some stereotypes would continue to stick around, like Kami D'Amico filling in for the bratty popular girl archetype.
Classic cool. We're gonna do some Toad. You in?
Connie's essentially your run-of-the-mill mean girl who usually targets Meg with unnecessary meanness. Then again, maybe Meg brings it on herself? What's she doing wearing a beanie in the summer? Are you trying to be different? Oh great, now I'm on the bully side.
Go team! Uncool people are like animals.
Thankfully for Meg, Connie often gets her comeuppance in the form of a verbal lashing or something a little more dramatic.
You see that fire extinguisher there?
Dad, that's enough!
Yeah, he's probably wrong for doing that, but now if there's a fire, they don't have to worry about that pesky glass getting in the way. I'd say that evens out the assault, wouldn't you? But Connie can sometimes show some semblance of humanity, like when she dated Chris as a joke, only to actually fall for him.
No guy's ever said anything that nice to me before.
Well, maybe you've been hanging around with jerks.
Well, she'd continue to be a jerk even into the later seasons. It really says a lot about a person to take a face full of glass and not think about why that happened in the first place.
You suck!
We're gonna give Connie a B ranking, not because we like her, but because we love to see her get dunked on. Or as the kids her age would probably say, we love to see her get pwned, epic style. And speaking of epic, no one has brought more epic moments to the show than Ernie the Giant Chicken, perhaps Peter's greatest rival.
Why don't you just go back to your crabgrass?
This happens to be fresh marathon sod.
It all started over a misunderstanding about an expired coupon, and their relationship has devolved into a blood feud that has taken who knows how many lives and caused incalculable amounts of damage. Which is all well and good, but I think people need to be questioning why there's a giant chicken just walking around town.
Hang on. What are we fighting about?
You know, I have completely forgotten.
But despite their differences, they do seem to have some measure of respect for one another. Men just settle their differences the old-fashioned way, by draining each other of more blood than a Red Cross drive.
Come on, you gotta live, damn it! I need you! You do have something to live for! Me!
These two may actually be soulmates more so than any other couple in this series. Their relationship is so fun, so brutal, and so wacky that we definitely think that Ernie deserves a spot right at the top in the S tier. Really, we could all use a giant chicken in our lives. Interpret that as you will.